we'll start. We can go over, some of what we've been up to with ACYC. I feel like it'd be good to sort of give a Q1 roundup. Um, been around for 4 months now. Q1 ended, and there's been a lot that we've done, at ACYC from where we are now. It started with a team of five, eight of us. And we've grown that team to over 20 people, working with us, helping us create content, manage the community. Since we started, we've grown our treasury from nothing to around $3 million at current prices. We have almost 5,000 holders of ACYC. We've offered plenty of whitelists to the big reflectors, holders of ACYC that have 200 million or more tokens. A lot of those have been very profitable. I think they got in on the Shinsekai mint today. That was a very nice one. We've seen plenty of 100x's in the alpha channel as well in there, even a couple thousand x's on some of those coins. So that's pretty cool to see. We launched our YouTube channel. We've hosted almost 30 spaces. And we've most recently, fully redesigned our website and our dashboard. Our landing page redesign came a little while ago, but we took on a new front-end web designer to do the dashboard. D-Money, shout out to him. He did a great job building that dashboard out. If you haven't seen it, go to acy.capital and then click the dashboard in the top right. You can sort of see a profit and loss for our treasury over the week in both ETH term and US dollars. You can also see our current allocations, where we have our NFTs, all of that good stuff. So that's been great. We got the back end worked out from our new back end engineer, Bellyflop Club. We've fixed a lot of the NFTs and data that we've had fetching on the Ethereum network. There are still some. We do a mix of manual and automatic reporting on our balances, so sometimes things can get a little funky. Like we sold a Bored Ape recently, and the treasury counted double the value because it was still had the manually coded value from the NFT, and then it brought in an automatic value from the ETH that we are now holding. So there are some incongruities, but generally our data fetching has become much more accurate, much easier for us to manage there. So yeah, it's been a wonderful Q1. I think we're very excited about where we're going. We have a lot of stuff in the pipeline right now too. Which we'll touch on a little bit as we move forward. But I figure we could sort of talk about our recent trades, starting with that Diamond Grill Bored Ape. Nate, if you wanted to talk a little about that trade, it would be awesome.
Cool. Yeah, I can talk about that. Sweet. So basically what we've been doing over the last 6 months, 4 months at this point, 4 or 5 months, is trying to grow a little into more. And so the best way to grow a little into, and this isn't like, some structure or anything, but the best ways to a little into more is to start out with risk, aka you're trying to turn a little into a lot, and then later on using large amounts of money to turn a lot into a ton more. Pretty dumbed down and pretty dumb way of me saying it, but tying back to the Diamond Grill, we started a couple 100K trading, accumulated more Ethereum through trades, and then we pivoted over to NFTs and we opened a fund there with about 100 Ethereum. And that was about December, no, not December, probably right after, about January. We started with about 100 Ethereum in our NFT account and have just been in and out of trades. We haven't on our trading account sat in anything for too long. We've always been, if we're going to buy it, we need to have the ability to tell somebody else why we bought that. And so we've traded roughly about 6 or 7, maybe 8, 7 or 8 Bored Apes for sure on the ACYC account, all like 24-hour holds. And this recent Bored Ape, the Diamond Grill, sad story, got hacked for me, the first hack ever, or scam or phishing or whatever it may have been. I personally lost this Diamond Grill ape to the hacker. Backstory for anyone who doesn't know: he sent me 50 Ethereum. Very nice guy. Not a nice guy. Like obviously he stole a lot of money. But when he did that, I felt like a connection with him. I was like, if I ever caught you, if I ever know who you are and you are facing charges from, my end, those charges don't exist. You're a cool dude. I appreciate that, because that 50 Ethereum, if I was somebody else, would have been the best thing ever, because nobody gets refunded. Nobody ever gets refunded for scams. It's a dog eat world. So thank you, whoever that was. But tying back to the Diamond Grill Bored Ape, Diamond Grill floor was like 200 Ethereum, and we knew that he was sitting on this ape. So we scrounged together some Ethereum for bidding, and we bidded about 5 Ethereum, I believe. So we bought it for about 105 Ethereum. We then held it till the ape claim. So we got at the peak, 40 Ethereum worth of ape from it. And we just kept it listed at 155 Ethereum. It sold. So we turned about 105 Ethereum to 155 Ethereum plus roughly 40 Ethereum from the ape tokens. So we turned 105 Ethereum to like 190 Ethereum over the course of a couple weeks. And that's pretty much like the sum of what ACYC is. We make these calculated plays. We buy, we hold, and we exit as calculated. Even if like say that wasn't Nate who got his diamond grilled ape stolen, we would still have been bidding. Like whoever was on the other side, we would have been bidding and we would have still gotten that ape. It's not like Nate fed that trade to ACYC. It's like we would always be bidding on these opportunities. And the same thing with the ape token. Shortly after, this actually after we traded the ape token. Planned a long time for the ape token. We made sure that we were as liquid as could be. We had about 400K hand, and we did not time it at the top, but we always sell responsibly. So we turned about our 120 Ethereum at the time, 360K, 400K, whatever it is, to 167 Ethereum on one trade. So about a 67 Ethereum profit there off the ape token. We didn't enter and exit any other times than one other time for about like 10K, so not much. And there, another example of how we turn a lot into more, 100 Ethereum into 167. Planned calculate at the top, it could have been 100 Ethereum into like 250, but we sold, the way up, we sold the way down. We took our pit, and so both of those trades were in the last like month. And that right there accounts for, roughly $500,000 in gains with 300K treasury base. So we never really go all in and use all of our money at once, but with the trading stack of about 300K, we turned that over the course of the last month and a half into 800K. And so now we're just sitting on that. Margaret, did you speak on the website redesign at all, the correct balances?
Yeah, I did. To respecify. Yeah, when we sold that board ape, it was still counting our balance. It was still counting the value of that ape, and then it also added on the ETH. So there was some inconsistency there, which we have of course amended since our back end has done so well. But yeah, that just to touch on that.
Cool. Is there anything else we want to talk about for updates for ACYC, or do we want to continue into market talk at the moment?
Well, I think the things that I guess we could touch on now, it would be good. We can talk about the Consortium Key, which, as you guys know, we're developing an alpha pass of sorts. We're calling it the Consortium Key. The development of that is going very well. The branding is almost complete. We're going to be rolling out the social profiles, building out the website for that, starting to get allocations to proper communities. And so, yeah, we're very happy with how the development of that is going. And the Alpha Pass, it'll provide access to a myriad of channels and tools that have all sorts of alerts, from wallet alerts to Twitter alerts, all sorts of fun stuff. I don't want to give too much away. And then eventually we are planning to introduce tool utility for holders of the Consortium Key. So as many of you guys know, at ACYC, we've developed a suite of tools for ourselves between Mimus and Pan, that allow us to, mint things or get tokens at launch. And we're going to try and create a system that allows holders of the Consortium Key to eventually have access to those tools as well, which is a great utility. Might as well share the love, all the stuff we've been working on. So yeah, Consortium Key development is great. And then I think besides that, what to touch on with ACYC would be, as many of you guys know, we opened a very large position in CyberKongz. And, we're sort of looking to not transition as much, but, shift our focus more to longer term play to earn plays. And CyberKongz play and collect is not straight up play to earn, but it is in that field and it's fully functional. It's the first gamified minting experience that really exists in NFTs. We're very bullish with that ecosystem and how it's working. But yeah, I figured, Nate, you could maybe talk more on the CyberKongz allocations we've made.
Yeah. You just want to run through a few things first. This is ACYC, so what we were just talking about with like the trades we made and the prop made, 300K and the 8K, etc. All of that stays within ACYC. So when we get that 500K profit, it's not being distributed immediately. All stays within ACYC, and our grand purpose is to have a large amount of capital that we're farming and getting yields. So we have a master farmer, Uncle Pennybags. Sometimes he does longs and shorts for us. Open stablecoin yield farms for us. Transitions between layer 2 yield farms as well. Stuff of that nature. He manages a large amount for us. Bogger, is he upwards of like 600, 700K right now? Or
Yeah, definitely. The Titan allocation is definitely greater than that at this point. He's done a great job yielding, over 30% for us returns easily in the time that he's had that allocation.
so like the last 3 months?
I think yeah,
Yeah, so he's 30%, 3 months. He's probably working with, or soon to be working with, close to a mil. If you look at our website, acyc.capital, we have our treasury balance. I think right now it's about 3 mil spread out. And so profits like these, like when we get these 300K to 800K profits, we, with those profits, would shift those to penny bags. Or in this recent case, we shifted some to CyberKongz. We're trying to be a diversified fund with strategic views. So for us, play to earn makes sense. Meme coins and shit coins are a good moon bag. Turn a little into a lot. You can I won't go into the cult trade yet, but you can turn a little bit into a ton. And so we'll be focusing on that. We'll be focusing on play to earn. Play to earn's here to stay. Bored apes are going to create an entire wave, even though it already exists and it's already exactly what we want it to be transitioning into. Board apes are definitely going to bring a lot of attention to this. Even Azuki will do the same thing as well, I believe. Connex, them as well. A lot of people are going to be bringing in more eyes to the play to earn space, and so for us, a large position to take with recent profits to then yield more profits from made sense to be CyberKongz. Currently, at the moment, I don't want to assume that anybody listening knows about CyberKongz, so I'm not going to go all the way into it. But babies, when we swept, were about 4.5 Ethereum each. Off the top of my head, probably about 14K each, $13,000. And every day they yield 10 shards. When you have 100 shards, you can redeem an entire gem. There are 3 different gems. The lowest value gem of the 3 sells for about 0.05 Ethereum, which is roughly $160. So you get 10 shards a day, and every 10 days you get a full shard. If the lowest one's worth about $160, every 10 days we're getting $160. Every day we're getting $16. And that was for about 4.5 Ethereum, so $14,000, somewhere around there. At the same time, Genesis Kongs are 55 Ethereum and yield about $8. Bugger, would you say bananas about $8 or $9 right now?
Yeah, I think 8.
Yeah, so
8 or so.
So with a Gen Kong, you pay about 60 Ethereum. Let's just say 60 at the moment because they've been getting bought recently. You pay about 60 Ethereum, and you yield $8 a day. Whereas with babies, when we opened our position, we could buy 10 for 40 Ethereum instead of 1 for 60. We could buy 10 for 45 Ethereum, or it averages out to about 50. We buy 10 for 50 Ethereum, we get 170 a day, as where Genesis Kongs cost even more, and they yield about half as much. And that's only if you get the lowest of the 3 gems. The other gems range about $350 to $3,000. So if you get the rarest, it's $3,000. That's the mindset behind why we would open first. And every day they yield 10 shards. When you have 100 shards, you can redeem an entire gem. There are 3 different gems. The lowest value gem of the 3 sells for about 0.05 Ethereum, which is roughly $160. So you get 10 shards a day, and every 10 days you get a full shard. If the lowest one's worth about $160, every 10 days we're getting $160. Every day we're getting $16. And that was for about 4.5 Ethereum, so $14,000, somewhere around there. At the same time, Genesis Kongs are 55 Ethereum and yield about $8. Bugger, would you say bananas about $8 or $9 right now?
Yeah, I think 8.
Yeah, so
8 or so.
So with a Gen Kong, you pay about 60 Ethereum. Let's just say 60 at the moment because they've been getting bought recently. You pay about 60 Ethereum, and you yield $8 a day. Whereas with babies, when we opened our position, we could buy 10 for 40 Ethereum instead of 1 for 60. We could buy 10 for 45 Ethereum, or it averages out to about 50. We got 10 for 50 Ethereum. We get 170 a day, as where Genesis Kongs cost even more, and they yield about half as much. And that's only if you get the lowest of the 3 gems. The other gems range about $350 to $3,000. So if you get the rarest, it's $3,000. That's the mindset behind why we would open such a large position in Kongs. I believe we swept 15, something around there, Bogger, you think?
Yeah, I think we have a total of 13 baby Kongs
Okay,
now.
so yeah, we swept at least 12. So about 50 Ethereum worth, and then we also swept another 15 or so VXs. I won't break it down. It's the same thing for there. We just put a lot of money into this area. And I believe, and a lot of people believe, that gems are undervalued. This is the lowest we've seen babies as well in months. They were just recently 12 Ethereum. At their peak, they were 20 Ethereum, or roughly 18. And now they're at they're actually 5.4 Ethereum right now. We kind of just like ate most of the babies on the floor, and we got some really beautiful ones. Maybe we can work out something where holders can rock them. That answers the baby thing. That's why we just spent roughly 75 or 80 Ethereum on Kongs, maybe 90 Ethereum recently. We transitioned those profits into Kongs instead of transitioning them into yield farming. So whenever we get future profits as well, it might go into yield farming, and we will let Pennybags do his thing. Sometimes it might go over there. And that's how ACYC works. One last thing about ACYC before we just move into the market. We have an alpha chat, and this kind of actually takes us right into the market. We have an alpha chat in our Discord, ACYC Discord. You need 200 million tokens. Bogger, is that like 0.2 Ethereum right now?
I think it's 0.5.
Okay, 0.5. So you need 200 million tokens to enter. It's about 0.5 Ethereum, as Bogger just said, to enter, and you can sell and buy it. There's a 10% tax on it, et cetera, et cetera. It's like an NFT. And in there is where we spend our time with our community, searching for the alpha. There's a lot of communities out there that are alpha communities. CyberKongz, shout out. But this is where ACYC is doing our talks. This is where, if you at Nate Rivers or mention Nate Rivers and you have any thoughts, I'll answer if there's an at. And this is also where I mention anything I'm interested in. And it never pumps. Like, maybe if for some reason in a month we have 1,000 traders in there, and yes, at that point, if you mention anything, it'll pump off that. But right now we've got about like 15 or 20, maybe 50 really active people, maybe less. And so these are just things that when you've been around here and you've noticed the market enough, you know where you can allocate money and mention it to people that you associate with. And it's not like a gamble. So the recent one that I dropped off. So I probably mentioned 2 tokens in the last 4 months, maybe 3 months. I've only mentioned 2 tokens aside from APE and X2Y2. So X2Y2, APE, and 2 other tokens. One of those tokens was Colt. Colt's, honestly, I know nothing about it. I just saw the chart. It looked really bullish. I did what I did in my meme coin YouTube channel, checked who was talking about it on Twitter. Shout out to my meme coin YouTube channel. It's on my profile. If you want to learn about trading meme coins or shit coins on Dex Tools and Uniswap, check that out. But I did what I do there. I checked the trending tokens on Dex Tools. I see Colt. Colt has a lot of volume for the market cap. I think at the time, Colt was worth about 3 mil, maybe 4 mil, probably about $4 million. I mean, $4 million market cap, which is small for a shitcoin with nothing behind it. That's a good starting point. And so you need something behind you to actually take you to the next levels of $100 million market cap. Colt had something interesting. It was a $3 million market cap, but it had about $10 million in volume. A lot of volume like that is very attractive. And also there was no trading tax on it. So, you didn't, if you put in 1 Ethereum, you didn't lose 0.1 or, 0.5. Or if you're an NFT trader and you know how when you sell a token, you lose to the project and OpenSea. There's no tax. So money goes in liquid, money comes out liquid. So that was attractive to a lot of people. And in our alpha chat, I mentioned that I was going to buy some. And at the time, I put in quite a bit compared to like most people around. So just mentioned it there, hanging out with everybody. Colt, hey, this is where we're entering. And even at that moment said that, profit should be taken at 10x. It looks like you could do it super easy. If you look at the chart and you know charts, you know that that's just a silent sleeper. So we all entered, and then I entered, and then it went like 25x from that point in the course of 4 days. So we entered on, I believe, something like basically a 4-day span. We entered 4 days later, 25x. I put in 6 Ethereum at the beginning, and I didn't even get in super early. Like there was people probably a day before in our alpha chat that were actually talking about Colt, and I didn't see it. I just kind of mentioned mine, and at the top, my 6 Ethereum was worth, I believe, 230 Ethereum. So turning roughly 20k into almost 700k. So 20k into 700k in the course of 4 days. A lot of our members had that much in and sold, a lot here at the top and along the way to the top, like I did. I got to crack my back and stretch and say I did sell early and I did not jump back in until afterwards. So
I'm still holding. Colt.
oh, you're still holding?
Yeah, I'm still holding.
Dude, I
just got back in,
Yeah, I swing it. That's what we do now. We swing it. Fudge. Six Ethereum and 255 in 4 days if I held. And the best part was hearing and seeing everybody in our chat like mentioning that they were holding and they did listen. And they didn't, butterfinger. I think I traded my 6 Ethereum to 22 Ethereum. It's still like a noble. It might have been 21 Ethereum. It's still a noble 50k profit, and what I at the time for me was 12 hours. It was the first big win in a long time. It made sense. I wasn't looking. I was at the beach and stuff. And so yeah, that's pretty much our alpha channel pitch. It's worth, I believe, just having access and peeking in 4 times a day. Just peek in, see what they're talking about. You can scroll up. It's not diluted at this moment, and nobody really just like chats to chat. They mention what they're thinking and then also try to get opinions. Cool. So yeah, that's everything ACYC at the moment. Cool. Yeah. Do we want to move into just talks about the market? Maybe open some Q&A.
Yeah, and we could. Yeah, I think it would be good for people to hear sort of how we're seeing the market right now and considering our allocations and stuff. Even though we did take we took a large position in Kongs, but for the most part, we're not opening too many positions at this point. If you look around the market, a lot of the top collections have pumped super hard, and we're not going to buy the top on a lot of collections. Kongs, on the other hand, are down pretty bigly, so that's an easy allocation to make, buying the blood. But yeah, I think people would benefit from sort of hearing where we're thinking the market is going, NFT, crypto wise.
Cool. So for turning a little bit into a lot, so if somebody's listening and they've you've got a little, and a little can range. A little can range from $1,000 to 5,000. Anything less than that, you'll have to go to the Binance Smart Chain or Solana. I'm not too familiar with those. Probably the same game, but if you've got a little bit, I would be educating yourself in tokens, coins, not NFTs at the moment. At the moment, I think everybody's mission should be like spend the next week or two researching how to trade tokens. You can start with like my meme coin masterclass in my Twitter profile picture. It's free. There is no paid there. But I would start with trading tokens because we're exiting a phase of the NFT market where you can just hold something and then whatever price you bought in, as long as you hold long enough, it pumps back to that price. A lot of dead NFT collections do get pumped randomly in bull markets for NFTs, but even in these past ones, we have seen less and less of that happen. I know Pudgy Penguins pumped from like 0.5 to 3.7 Ethereum, but that's completely different. They had a narrative. A lot of these projects don't have, so they're going to die. And a lot of these things are moving up and down. So I would start with learning to trade Uniswap tokens, getting accustomed to doing that, and then moving to a larger amount of money and coming back to NFTs. Once you've for anybody who trades NFTs in this, if you have a decent understanding of trading tokens, shitcoins and meme coins, stuff of that nature, and this is almost like a challenge. If you get a good understanding too, you can become way better of an NFT trader instead of just an NFT holder if that's what you're aspiring to be. Because shitcoins, meme coins, and all the above teach you how to lose emotions, and the less emotions that you have, the better of a trader you'll be. You might hate a token, but if the numbers, like I said earlier, I know nothing about Colt. I have no idea what Colt actually does, but the circumstances made for a good trade, and so I entered. The equivalent of that would be like if somebody didn't really like Azuki, but they saw at 13 Ethereum that people were sweeping, and that they're the only token. I mean, the only big project that hasn't done an airdrop. Yeah, you can put 2 and 2 together and say that makes sense. Just that's the exact equivalent. So that's just my sense of it turning a little into a lot. If anybody in here has a lot of money right now and didn't have it this time last year or 2 years ago, you know, I don't care how bullish you are, NFTs, Ethereum, crypto, anything at all. If you don't have stable coins at this point in the market, you will live like a very much more stressed life. If you're a bigly, if you are a bigly, because even if you see it go down a little bit, like if this is your first time being up bigly, you're not going to know how to handle the downturn. Even if it's your second time, you're not going to know how to handle the downturn, and you could be, let's just, you know, bigly means a lot, so you could be up 100K or $1 million, and if you're still completely exposed, and Ethereum goes from $3,300 to $1,000, that's down 30%. And then let's just say you're not holding Ethereum, you're holding tokens and you're holding NFTs, and those go down 30% on top of the Ethereum. I'm not sure if it exactly equals 60%. It might be more. Maybe there's some math equation I'm not figuring out. But the moral of the story is, if you were holding 100K to a mil, and you're down 60%, you are now holding 40K or 400K. And that's just called being overexposed. So if you're up bigly, like your parents always told you, cash is king. But that doesn't mean that you have to exchange everything into US dollars, or, you know, whatever your native currency is, immediately. Like, you don't have to take it out of crypto. One of the best things you can do is actually move it onto Coinbase or a Ledger or a Trezor and putting it into stable coins. And then just keep it over there and call it a rainy day fund. You know, what if APE token, you know, has an exploit and it drops 70% in a day? You could then go extra steps, get it out of your, you know, non-hot wallet, bring it over and trade, and then put it back. But that gives you peace of mind, because when you're holding Ethereum, or you're holding liquid USDC right now, and you just sold Ethereum for $3,300, and it goes to 4,000, like, damn, you could have had more. But if it goes down to like 2,400, usually people don't think to buy, but they do feel comfortable. Like, wow, this is how much more I would have. This is how much more I have now because I sold higher. And that feels much better to say. Even like it going up even more is great. It feels great. But it going down feels terrible. So don't overexpose. And, you know, keep everything in mind. Like, I don't want to call anyone out, and I'm not going to mention their name because they're actually a really good friend, and people in this call will know who it is, and it's not shit talking. But, you know, a friend put in, at the time it was roughly like 100. No. At the time it was roughly like 70K or 80K into a shitcoin, and it went to $1 million. It actually went to way more, I believe, like 1 million something, in the course of like a week or two. Maybe, I think it was like 2.5 weeks. So 80K into $1 million, and they weren't selling. I did advise that same friend to sell at a lower price, so I really can't say shit. But you know, his 80K went to $1 million. That's enough to retire people, like literally retire people in good. And I'm not shitty country. There's no such thing as a shitty country, but in like a very high cost of living country, you could survive for the rest of your life off $1 billion, and the person wasn't taking it at all. That's the type of market we're in NFTs and in crypto, and that's like market thoughts. That's just me spewing that out right there. I do think a lot of our participants right now are more educated than they were this time 2 ago, this time 6 months ago, this time a year ago. A lot of the people, I would say, their average lifetime right now in NFTs and crypto that we are trading with is probably like 2 to 8 months. Maybe most of them came about 8 months ago. Like the mean, I would say the mean of active, which means like the average of time the active trader has been here, I think is probably about 6 to 8 months. So people are like getting smarter. People are being more responsible. People are putting the money in the tether, like I just mentioned, and doing that responsible stuff. And I think there's a lot of cash hidden on the side, and I think there's a lot of liquid cash right now being used responsibly. I think a lot of people are sitting in large USD stacks. I think a lot of people are sitting in, you know, pretty much stable major coins. So, you know, the top 100 crypto. I don't think people are looking for liquidity completely at the moment, unless they're up bigly. And this is the perfect time to, like I just said, get liquid and trade from liquid. So this is a tip for anybody. I'm assuming that if you're listening, and I'm sorry if your scenario for the next 5 minutes, but I'm assuming if you're listening, your net worth is probably like $20,000 or more. And one of the best ways to trade is to sit into US dollars. So not like in your bank, but USDC, UST, any type of stable coin on Uniswap. And just look at the charts and trade when people sell, because not when people sell, but when the price goes down quite a bit on something bullish. It's the easiest flips in and out. Colt is a big one that, like I said, if you were here at the very beginning of the call, we were just chatting, shooting shit. And I mentioned that I've traded Colt for the last 4 nights in a row, just buy before I go to bed because the chart looks amazing. It's sold off on a bullish chart. And then when I wake up, I sell. Every day I've been putting in about 100K. And so far over the last like 4 days, and this is for ACYC, we're up about $70,000 on Colt. In the last 4 days of just trading these 10% swings. One of the swings was way more than 10%. I think we put in about 150K and got a 30% return on that. But other than that, we've just been trading these 5K, 10K swings, which is 5 to 10%. And it's the perfect time to do that. People are holding Ethereum strong right now at 3,200. I would only get worried if it went back down to 28, maybe. I don't know. It could rebound from there. But like, regardless, our mindset is that we feel good in what we're doing now. A lot of people feel like they've nestled in. They feel like, okay, I am diversified. I have USD, I've got Ethereum, I've got my tokens, I've got my shit coins, I got my NFTs, I got what I want. So we're all kind of just waiting. And during the wait time, it is good to use that USD and get in and out of trades, and then to make calculated decisions. If you're an NFT like whale and you buy NFTs a lot, then stay away from Gem, stay away from Genie, any of the sweep sites. I don't know. It just doesn't feel like the time for that. A lot of people are sweeping up NFTs, and yes, they're going up. But how high can we go before people call us insane? And if, like, to me, the more time I spend in NFTs, the more attractive Bitcoin is. Like, I think of one Bitcoin, and I'm like, wow, it's only like $48,000. Like, that's 3 Bitcoins is an Azuki, or 4 Bitcoins for the Azuki plus the airdrop at the exact peak. And there could be a time where a lot of people on Twitter go back to, hey, are you holding any Bitcoin anon? Or showing memes of people who aren't holding Bitcoin and Ethereum. And the market is getting positioned for Bitcoin to feel normal at 200K, like a $200,000 Bitcoin at a $10,000 to $15,000 Ethereum. And so I just don't think NFTs right now have a great long-term look comparatively in that situation. Though we did just sweep some Kongs and just super bullish Kongs and a lot of NFTs in general, I just think people would be much more safer not putting 100 hours a day into grinding NFT knowledge at the moment. I'm so wrong. You guys should do that. But I'm not. We're not going to. Because honestly, there's so much free money in NFTs, but if you do have a lot of capital and it just doesn't feel comfortable because you are managing so many NFTs, it's not as completely liquid and things of that nature. But yeah, like, I'm thinking that we have an absolutely relaxing next month or so, and then we'll know what happens next. In the ACYC Alpha chat, I mentioned I always like chop in there and Wall Street Kongs whenever I have time. And mention frames. Like a couple months ago, I was mentioning that in June, July, it looks like we'll have meme season. And here we are in April, May, June. In April, like, I'm looking at all these charts for meme coins. I'm looking at them every day. I'm trying to read them, have them tell me a story. And every time that they reverse and get some volume and start to move, the volume is never there. And if the volume's never there, same thing with Colt, the volume was there. If the volume's never there, like true volume, for reference, back in like the earlier meme coin seasons, actually all of them, you would have about 10 meme coins each doing over $50 to $60 million in volume a day. Some of them were doing, you got Doge doing billions, Shiba doing hundreds of millions, but other smaller ones doing 100 million easy. The ones with hardly any following, 50 million. Everything was just, and that means price up, price down, make money, lose money. But with all of these recent meme coin rallies, the volume has been so much less. I think we're seeing something around, comparatively, if we were seeing 60 to 100 mil back then, we're seeing 8 to 10 mil right now. That's what we're seeing right now, 8 to 10 mil on good days for the lower lower ones, even though Doge is getting some volume. Still makes me think that late June, early July is the time, which means don't get caught in the chop. Like if you can stay diligent and focused and enter some meme coin positions and get in on these little waves, because all these are accumulation phases. All meme coins are just accumulating. People are opening positions and seeing how the market reacts to buys. But right now we're not seeing the volume to follow through. And whenever we do, it's better to come with the market than after, because obviously not everything pumps to its peak on the exact same day, but you'll have multiple opportunities in the meme coin bull season to make multiple X's and multiply those X's. Still think we see late June, early July. But at the moment, some quick flips maybe. Or if and we do see the volume follow through this time, then it starts now. Because when I see the charts of the meme coins, I do see, like I said, volume 8 to 10 mil, and it can come out of nowhere. It can boom. One day you get a bunch, and then you basically play roulette and decide, if there's a bunch this day, if there's a bunch tomorrow as well, that means moon. It doesn't mean they sold the way down. There could be a bunch the next day if it goes all the way up. So that's what we'll be waiting for. We'll be waiting for that first day. Yes, we'll miss out on that first 3x, but we'll hit the 20x. That's the meme coin market thoughts. Everything else, Looks token made some moves. X2Y2 is absolutely dead. maybe if X2Y2 dies more, I'll open a position. Looks is always looking like people are. They've got tried and true holders. Their holders have seen it go from $7 to 60 cents, and now when they saw it go back up to $3 or whatever the peak was, this recent rally, it looks like they still held a bunch. Other than that, market is, like I said, I would sleep much better having stables and having stability, but also having exposure. And I'd also be spending this time. So it's April right now, beginning of April, May, June. Worst case, you have 3 weeks to learn about meme coins and shitcoins. Best case, you have 2 months. 2 months, maybe in a couple weeks. And then if that doesn't happen, I don't know, Bitcoin and Ethereum will be at like 30K and 1,700 if there isn't a meme coin season by the end of July. Just because these charts cannot stay so dead and flatlined, is what I call it, for so long. Every time they do, it's just a pump and dump cycle. And that's where you open your positions now. And if also great advice. If like I knew that I was going on a 6-month vacation, or not even a 6 month, a month to 2 month vacation, and I wanted the safest bet, I would be half in USDC and half in meme coins. Meme coins just not have had their next pump. Last year alone, they had 3 entire meme coin seasons. Like when I say entire, I mean 3 different full-fledged weeks, maybe even longer. Some of them were even longer, of $100 million volume a day and massive swings, like 50% swings every single day on every single token, whether that's up or down. And if it's down, then the next day you get a 5x up. It's just an insane tsunami ride. We haven't seen that, and you can't have 3 in 1 year and then go, over half of the next year without having one at all. Like all we've been doing is getting fondled and tickled. We haven't gotten an official one. So that's pretty much like, stability. That is the definition of stability. Having reserves on the side, trading a little bit, educating yourself, and then preparing for the next event, which I believe is a meme coin season. And even if you say like a meme coin season now, that's true too. Like Cult is what I'm describing. Cult, the token that, I said went from 6 Ethereum to 250 Ethereum, that is me buying at a $4 million market cap. Like I put in 6 Ethereum at a $4 million market cap, and at the peak, it was 250 Ethereum. There were people who are buying at 100K market cap. So if they put 6 Ethereum, I don't even want to use that such a big a number, but sometimes even if it was 100K for me, I would put 6 Ethereum. So if they put 6 Ethereum at 100K market cap, then That's like 10,000 Ethereum. That's six Ethereum into 10,000 Ethereum, I believe. It's an ADX. No, actually, it's more than that. It's a 1200x because I think it got to $120 million market cap. So if you put in 6 Ethereum, which you can't actually do, if you put in 1 Ethereum at 100K market cap in Colt, which a lot of people did, like I'm pretty sure Bogger, didn't you hear about Colt at 100K?
Yeah, and actually in the ACYC Alpha channel, I first saw it at 100K, and then I saw it at 1 million, and then you bought in around 4, I think.
Yeah. So if somebody put $1,000, 0.3 Ethereum, and at 100K, when Bogger heard about it in our ACYC Alpha channel, if you put in $1,000 at the peak, you would have $1 million. You'd have $1.2 million in the course of 6 days. So yeah, that's honestly the tail of a meme coin season. That is what people do in meme coins. You put in $1,000 into Doge, Shiba, etc. back in the day, and then next thing you know, you're worth millions. And there was the little key for them to get out. That's the important part. So you put in $1,000 at 100K market cap, and it gets to $120 million market cap, and you have $1 million. $1 million can destroy so many charts; they cannot absorb that. But Colt was doing $80 million, $100 million in volume a day. That might only tank the price 20%. So you, instead of having your $1.2 million, you have $1 million. But that's incredible. And these are the opportunities I'm preaching at the moment because I just, the honest grind up, unless you're starting with a lot of money, is not going to work at the moment. That's where I would lean towards these meme coins and shitcoins. And in a meme coin and shitcoin season, you'll see a lot of instances of something like this. And that's just where, like I mentioned with retaining money fee, I've made that $1 million. If you're that person who put in $1,000 in ACYC Discord, now you're at $1 million. 50% into USDC, maybe 10% into trading with. Learn to trade better. Maybe you got lucky. And stay away from NFTs. Yeah, if you're just a token trader, yeah, safety net, and then try it again. 10% back into trading. See if you can turn that 100K into another mil, or even do less. Like if you're not comfortable with 100K because you just had a $1,000 bankroll, then start with 10K. Just continue in the cycle. It's just the story of turning a little into a lot, and don't put it all back in, because if you put all your money back in, then you can see all of your money fall together. Yeah, I think that's it. That's it for market thoughts.
Yeah, I think that's a great market overview. I don't know, Clark, if you have anything to add in regards to the market or trading. That'd be great too.
For the market, I think Nate covered like 90% of everything. For me, I think at the moment the story, the narrative at the moment is finding the next Azuki and BASI, right? So that's why I've been putting huge chunk of my money in Clorx, in several potential blue chips, instead of trying the small cap NFT and so on. But of course. People have different strategies, but just for me, it is the most makes sense position right now, because BASI has shown the space that blue chips is the winner at the moment. So yeah, that's for me. And for the coin side, I think Nate has covered a lot of great angles. For shit coins, volume is everything. That's why Cult is thriving. But on a bigger picture, I think some of these good shit coins with volumes is actually potentially having a great fundamentals, right? It doesn't have to be the case every time, but sometimes we need to see beyond what's advertised, right? What is called about, what is looks about. That's why on my side, I've always more inclined toward more fundamental play. Of course, it's different. It's a different play because you need to have that kind of conviction, that kind of balls to hold through downtrends. But sometimes that works. I don't know how many times I've told Nate about looks and how fundamentally it is good despite the price going down, like tanking to $1, even less than $1 for quite a while. But if you take a look at the data, looks rather fundamentals is actually doing pretty well, right? You know, the wash trade volume ratio to the real volume is improving. You know, the top holders is actually diamond holding. Looks rare product is keep improving as well. You know, a lot of speedy updates, speedy releases, and quality updates, if I may, also being released. So sometimes you need to also check the product and the fundamentals of the project. And that being said, I think I also want to reiterate a few points on ACYC. So the first thing is you got to realize how ACYC keeps making money in you know in any situation of the market, right? And our treasury keeps growing despite price tanking. So in my opinion, price is just a short-term view on a project, right? But if you're here for the fundamentals, if you're here for quality, then focus on how the treasury keeps growing and how our strategies have been playing out. So that's one. The second one would be the importance of Consortium Key as we proceed, because box mentioned about tools, right? Trading tools, alerts, and that is actually you know still something that you pay a lot of attention to, because it's really useful. You know, I cannot stress that more. You know, for example, if you realize Akuma Origins have been going pretty well, right, in terms of price action since minting, and I actually and some several people that have access to that alerts, we actually saw that some top people are buying Akumas, right? KBM, Defarmer, Dingaling, even Nate also buying. That's how I took decision, and then I'll just follow the smart money, right? And just bought a few Akumas, and it's doing pretty well. And that's one example of how alerts will be important, and being part of it, you could get a sense, at least some important sense of what is going on with the market, what is the smart money doing, what is these top traders are looking at. So that's two. And third one is how important community is, and that's how um, our alpha channels, our community, our circle, and a band of team would be important. Important source of information for you guys, because we're coming from a lot of different background, a lot of different trading strategies, a lot of different story on how we make it. So a lot of perspective that you guys could get from talking with Nate, talking with Bobs, talking with Pennybags, and talking with some several great traders, shitcoins, NFT, whatsoever, in our alpha channel. So yeah, I think I have to say with confidence that we are one of the few projects that is actually building something and working towards building a great farming as a service project. So yeah, I think that's from me, Bob. Thanks.
Yeah, great. I think you touched on a lot of stuff that's great there, and something that's important to highlight a few points is, like Clerk mentioned, like knowing who to follow in the space is really big, and you can't necessarily counter or not counter trade. You can't necessarily like follow or copy trade like Nate or ACYC, because we might take $100,000 and book a 10%, 15% profit, and that's great. That's a ton of money for us. But if you're dealing with $1,000, it's not so much, and you're going to lose a lot of that to gas and taxes and all of that. So, but what you can do is you can use those larger movements to also inform your decisions, and you can also, utilizing the proper tools, if you are following the right people in the right ways, which we aim to have the Consortium Key act as this sort of avenue for alerts and things. You can be made aware of some really great opportunities. There was a mint of this project, these omni-chain NFTs the other day, which is just like cross-chain NFTs. Basically, they can bridge across chains. They're called Ghostly Ghosts, and out of the woodworks, Mev Collector shared this link to mint these, and he actually minted. And if you know Mev Collector, he's a very well-known trader in the space, and he hasn't been active for a long time. But if you have the right means to be tracking his movements, you would have seen him minting these things, which was a free mint. For one AVAX, you could get 100 and 100, 150 of these things, and they ended up at a 1 ETH floor, just about. And now I think it's sitting at like half an ETH. So if you have the proper tools and you're looking for the right opportunities, and you're connected to the right communities and the right people, there's certainly a lot of opportunity there to make money. And so, yeah, ACYC, we aim to provide that. We have some of that in our alpha channel currently. The Consortium Key is the big expansion of that, though. And we're very excited about that. And as Clerk said, you got to look at the fundamentals of a project, be it ACYC or anything else. And as Clerk mentioned, our treasury is operating perfectly, regardless of how the markets have been, because it hasn't been only up the past 4 months. It's actually been a relatively poor market in my esteem, and we've been very reserved in our trading in light of that, but we're still able to yield significantly. Sometimes the best trade is to not trade at all. So there are boats certainly that we've missed. There are lots of things that moon, and you're never going to be on every ship in the sea, but when a rising tide lifts all ships. So if you have your bags packed the right way, you're going to profit. And looking at like the team and the people behind it is super important too. There have been other protocols, other investing as a service protocols that have tried to do the ACYC model, and they just, it's a great model, but you need a team that's experienced and professionally able to execute on that vision. And ACYC is that, where a lot of these other protocols have totally failed, totally rugged, because it's just unachievable if you don't have the brains and the people behind that. So through this first Q1 of ACYC, I think very well illustrated what we're here to do and continue doing. And we're very excited to move forward and continue doing that with everybody for years to come. So I think that's all we have for market and ACYC and all of that. And we would love to take some questions from you guys, the audience. Anything regarding ACYC or the markets or NFTs, our current positions, allocations, CyberKongz, trading shitcoins, whatever it is. If you have a question, just raise your hand and we will bring you up on stage. Yeah, let's see who raises their hands here. I'll give you guys all a second to work up the courage to come up on stage. And as always, if nobody has any questions, we'll end up wrapping it up and being in the ACYC Discord. It looks like we got one here, though. Hunter. I'm inviting you to speak, Hunter. You should be live. If you're there, Hunter, let us know. You should be able to speak. I hear your dog caller.
Oh, okay. Maybe you can hear me. It says my mic's
Yeah.
off.
I hear you.
So I just joined the Discord. Hey guys, I hope everybody's having a great day. I was curious if you could suggest any tools for watching these bigger wallets.
So, right now as it stands, there are different Discords, different alpha Discords that all provide their own level of tracking. You can also do it manually if you set up Nansen and you track and find people's wallets and do that. It is pretty laborious. We've sort of built that ourselves. The Consortium Key that we're going to be coming out with is going to house all of those alerts and tracking, all the research that we've done actually to create that and inform our own investment decisions. We have that available, and that is what the Consortium Key will be. So as of right now, I would say, there are a few communities you could look into that might have certain alerts and things like that, or you could do it manually or wait for the Consortium Key, and it'll help provide you with those details.
How will I get access to the Consortium Key?
So the Consortium Key is going to be a standard NFT mint. There will be, for big reflectors, there will be whitelist opportunities, as well as other communities will have that, and it'll just be a standard mint for an NFT. So right now, the ACYC Alpha channel is great for live action community, talking and sharing coins and things like that. As we mentioned before, we've had some amazing calls of, Colt at 100,000 or 1 million, and then at 1,000 X's from there. That's much more active. You're participating in the community. The Consortium Key will be more of the tools and foundation that lay below that to help inform those decisions.
Very cool. So if I can get the big holder, then I will get a whitelist to the Consortium Key moving forward.
We haven't announced officially how we're going to be doing the whitelist allocation, but there will likely be a threshold of ACYC tokens that people will hold that will provide them with a whitelist allocation for the mint. Next to that, there will be plenty of whitelist opportunities and a public mint as well to be able to get one of those. Sweet. Well, I have Decode here that I'm also going to add as a speaker to answer any questions. Sweet. Decode, you're up.
How's everyone doing?
Hey.
I always enjoy listening to you guys. Wanted to ask you a couple questions, one around coin and one on doodles. So why don't we start with ApeCoin? I know that you guys took a position, sold, made some money. Now it's sitting around 1150. Are you guys bullish on it now? What's your thoughts on the immediate future of ApeCoin before the release of the other side?
Yeah, well, I will mostly hand this one off to Nate because he's so familiar with it. But what I will say is I anticipate a degree of Ape token being actually having some tie-in with this land with the other side, potentially, you know, an entire mint being an ape or partially. So I think that on the horizon there could be some nice action there. But I would also love to hear what Nate says.
Yeah. So it's always what do I think happens next, and that's kind of like the gamble of it. Ape token in general right now sitting, like you said, about 50. It went to about 1040 yesterday, and it peaked on release around $18 or 17. But all of that means nothing. It just really for the last few days, maybe even weeks since release, we've been waiting on anything to tell us what is ape token. Like, we understand what it is. You understand you can stake your apes to get more. It'll be used on the other side and in the game and things of that nature. But they've never said, hey, gather your ape tokens. We've got something coming yet. Even the merch, like the merch really wasn't like a crazy thing, like cool to buy an ape token, but also at the same time, we're waiting for a giant signal, and apes in general have always given the signal. One of like my favorite and most infamous trades, why mutant trades were mutants were about Ethereum, about 4 Ethereum, 4 or 5 Ethereum, and I swept about 50 of them over the course of a couple of weeks, and just kept telling everybody on Twitter to jump in, like, this is why they're undervalued. And the only reason I said all of this was because the Bored Ape project company Twitter announced that one of the next year, all of the apes will be getting the token. So pretty brain dead. Pretty brain dead. They announced it.
Right.
Yeah, they announced it in like October, and so just before the beginning of the next year, buy as many as you can and send the hype. So for Ape token, we don't know what to wait for. It's always a better, bet with the Bored Ape Club in general to wait for them to say what it is and just buy with everybody, because it'll be a multi-day, even week event. But for now, not going to buy any. Even if it pumped 10-20%, wouldn't even touch it. I'm waiting for that event to buy a bunch. Yeah.
I see. Because you bought in. Did you guys buy your position like a day or two after it launched, or did you guys buy it right away, or what was your strategy there?
First day. Because we knew that it'd be in waves. Because you just gave all these apes these tokens. If you don't have tokens and you want tokens, or if you're a bullish ape and you want to buy more tokens, then it's going to be a multi-day buying spree. It's going to, nobody's going to be able to get all the tokens they want the first day. Some people might say, I'm going to wait for the dip. Some might average in over the course of a few days. And so, yeah, the first day we just bought in at a price that made the most sense to us. We didn't get an exact bottom, but we got it right before it touched it. And then our mindset was getting it out. We opened a large position, like 300K, like actually almost 400K. And, the next day that 400K is worth like 650K, 700K or something. And so we have to sell it. And we've just been waiting. The plan is this, with ACYC and how we view ape. I love Bored Apes, everything in Bored Apes, because even before that, I made a ton of money on Bored Ape dogs, because the Bored Ape team had announced that there'd be something involving dogs. And they announced exactly when it happened, like 4 weeks from then. And so I just swept a bunch of dogs next 7 days. And I was telling everybody to sweep them with me, and they wouldn't. They're like 1 Ethereum. Actually, some of them were like 0.8. And I just swept a bunch, like 20. And back then, that was kind of a lot. And sold them, the day before, whatever the hype was. I think it was like a basketball NFT. And I sold them for like on average, like 4 to 4.2 Ethereum. So I made 80 Ethereum 3 days way back in the day, which was like 300K in 4 days. And that's what we're going to do with Ape Token. And I don't think anybody should just be like averaging it over time, because of just like the opportunity cost. I think Ape token will just range because it's so liquid. It's on so many exchanges, that it would take a coordinated pump and a coordinated event to really set it to new levels. And we'll all have opportunity to join in. And I plan on participating whenever that is, and that'll be probably one of like the last things I plan for with large positions in a long time.
I see. So I mean, so what I gather is that yes, I mean, you have to wait for the signal. Like there's no analytics in it now that tells you why it's a good time to buy now. So that makes sense. And then with that said, I mean, with the fund, do you guys normally predetermine? I mean, I know you guys predetermine your exit strategy, but do you base that off of a percentage? Do you base it off of time? Do you monitor in real time? Like what's like the strategy of the fund? I mean, maybe not your personal, but what you guys do. And I know it may vary from case to case, but what would you say is a sweet spot for you guys?
For the fund, it's low amounts of capital into moonshots, hold over a longer period of time. Big coordinated entries and exits. So like Ape was a big coordinated entry and exit. We knew that we were not going to hold that for weeks or a month. But whenever like that signal comes, we'll buy and we'll hold for a week, 2 weeks, a month, a quarter if we need to reach that destination. But a lot of it is just our principle for ACYC. The fund is turning some into more. So we live on, because at this very moment, it would be cool to like hold stuff long term. But for the amount we have 3 mil in our fund at this very moment. For the amount we have, holding stuff with a long term perspective is going to yield us so much less than the flips and the positions that we do. Like our farmer right now is technically like longing and shorting the market, with massive farming on the side. But when he longs and shorts, like he'll open a long on Ethereum at 2,500, and hold it and hold it and hold it and hold it. And now, started exiting around 35, 30, 3,300 on a large position. But in the future, we do plan on having more of a long-term mindset in different funds that we're opening. One of the ones at this very being the play to earn one, like the CyberKongz position that we had just opened. Like if you convert it from Ethereum into dollars, it's about 150K. We just put into CyberKongz. We're not looking for an exit over the next 2 months. We're going to hold that because that is producing us a return. We get shards A, which we can sell for US dollars if we'd like to. That's at the current time the breakup. And honestly, to be true and honest, in our trend account, so our liquid account, like I talked about, we're about $3 million in our treasury, and we have 1 million at this very moment, about 8K in USDC, US dollar tokens, and waiting for that next Looks token, waiting for that next Cult token, waiting for the next Ape token, waiting for the next anything, and that's why we have such a liquid amount. We're waiting for that next coordinated play to turn that 800K into 5 mil, or that 800K into just a mil, or turning that 800K into 2 mil. Currently, what we're doing is we're opening, we're scalping the market because we're just waiting for that next big play. Because at the moment there's so much going on that it's just better to wait for confirmation across the entire market. Like people with Azuki, they didn't like you. If somebody just said, "Okay, I see this happening," when it was at the 13, 15, 17, 20 ETH floor, all you had to do was just buy into pressure, and then sell at 30, 34 Ethereum, which was like the top, and they had a long time to sell. So yeah, that's pretty much like the mindset that like I wear to like, and so our fund will adapt too, because Penny Bags, all of our advisors, Clerkclirk, and everybody, we adapt to the current market situation. Our current market situation is be calculated, don't risk money, but turn a lot into more. Like, don't be afraid if you're 800K liquid, $3 million fund to put all 800K into something that you like over time, you and all your kids can back and say that 800K will perform and turn into like 1.4 or 2 mil for us, or even 5 mil. Like, we can hit these crazy things, and that's my personal account, and also the ACYC, our ACYC holdings philosophy at the moment, just because it feels the safest. You can go to sleep at night knowing that you're not completely exposed to the market.
Yeah, I get it. Sometimes the best trade is not to trade. So if you guys are waiting for the next, like you said, next coin per se, what are you guys bullish on the NFT side? Other than, I mean, I believe in Doodles. I mean, I think that might be the next, one to break the 20 ETH floor. But are there any other collections that you guys are feeling strongly about? I mean, obviously excluding Azuki and CloneX, like, do you have one or two that you feel might be on that path?
Oh, you can go, Clerk. I was just gonna say, as far as NFTs go, like with that, like it really just depends because it's the same thing as like the Bored Ape signal. Like with Doodles, like Doodles at 30 to 35 Ethereum, I wouldn't like be thinking that's insane. I wouldn't be thinking to see Doodles at 50 Ethereum is insane. But at the moment, the way the market is favoring things, Doodles don't fit the exact like general populace. Like you're not going to convert a previous Bored Ape holder to be a Doodle at the moment, which is kind of like the narrative. Can you convert someone who sold their Bored Ape to buy a Clone X? I think it's a little bit more likely at the moment because Nike. But at the moment, Smalls. I think Smalls on the Arbitrum chain, and everything in the Magic ecosystem right now, it's all on a pretty like compared to their previous peak of a couple months ago. It's all affordable. I think at one point the Smalls, which are like you've seen them, like the small little monkeys, pixelated monkeys. We've got a couple in this chat too. They're like probably like
Yeah.
2 or 2.5 Ethereum right now, maybe 3. I think those are they have so much such a crazy vision that if they execute and it worked out properly, people in traditional NFTs at the moment will look and be like, wow, that's incredible. Same thing with CyberKongz. For me personally, answering that question, CyberKongz and Smalls. Everything else just feels very like flaky to me. Fugazi just feels, yeah, like Doodles are cool. Yeah, 50 Ethereum. Like, I could see that it makes sense, but will the team provide that? Will they take the steps needed? Can they become a brand? I don't know. And the entry cost at this point is already pretty high. Like I think they're about a 17 Ethereum floor, but I would never sell a Doodle right now before like 25 Ethereum.
I agree.
Yeah,
So yeah, so go ahead.
Yeah. For me, there are several plays that I'm looking at. Aside from the obvious, Connex, Doodles, Azuki stuff. Some that are in my watch list, of course. CyberKongz is always there, so no doubt there. I agree with Nate. Also looking into cyber brokers. Also, World Wide Web 3 and Arcade Lane for metaverse play. Also, I'm looking at imposters because I could never fade Elliot, Elio, and Banks, right? So imposters might be a good play because they are building on the back of social deduction game. As you know, Among Us was a hype, right? When it was launched, and if they put play to earn elements into that on top of a great artwork, it could be a big something, right? So that's actually several of my plays for the next couple months, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think metaverse plays, especially obviously along with Nate and Clark, CyberKongz for me in a market where everything else is pumped and those have dumped. It's like a very obvious buy in my opinion. But next to that, I would say like I'm definitely keeping my eye on metaverse plays, and I think that like something people sink themselves into is that you have to like choose one, and you're like I'm a World Wide Web 3 maxi, and like that's my metaverse, and like that's great, they're great, but like we don't know what's going to be the big one, what's going to really like bite and what people are going to hold on to. So I would sooner be, trying to capture the entire field of metaverses. So like Clerk mentioned, yeah, I have my eye on Arcade. Those Arcade has been pumping pretty hard. I think it'll run further personally. Just things like that. I think just keeping your eye on the market for like general trends you want to be catching and not worrying about like sniping the one that's going to be the one, and instead kind of allocating just to the general field in areas that you think are like that you think are profitable over the long term.
Got it. Thank you, guys. That's great feedback. My very last question, and I know you guys are super bullish on P2E, but on future NFT collections that feature either just straight up token or gamification, I guess they go hand in hand. But where do you guys feel the future of that is going? I mean, for collections to stake and play to earn, or to just do? I guess it's the same question.
I think the most important thing for P2E right now is to move beyond the tokenomics focus or the profit focus, but move into the fun focus. And the earning is actually the byproduct, because that will be key. Because without the fun elements, we lost the stickiness when the earning part is somewhat dwindling or crashing. and that fun element would be necessary for any upcoming P2E in the future. Even ACYC is bending over backwards to build something that is fun, right? Instead of this grindy or repetitive and so on and so on that people would just leave when the token price tanking. So that will be key for the next for the future of P2E in my opinion.
Yeah, got it. Makes sense. Anything to take the stress away. So fun is definitely good. Anyway,
Exactly.
thank you guys. I'm gonna step down and keep listening, and appreciate it. Everybody have a great night.
Yeah, sweet. Thank you for the questions. And we have Woozle coming up here with his question. Woozle, you're live, yeah?
Yeah. Thanks, guys. It's always so informative, and I mean, even you guys answering the questions, I think we're learning so much about just how to trade and just make profits in this market. I have a two-part question, I guess. Azuki BEANZ or Baby Kongs? What do you guys think in terms of upside, near-term upside? And then the second question is just in terms of P2E, do you guys have an analysis on NFT Worlds? Like, do you guys like that project, or do you think it's been building for a while? So I just want to see if you guys have a stance on that.
Yeah, so I would say like Kongs, I think are a great value buy over the long term. I don't think Kongs are a good short-term flip by any means, and I would never suggest them as such to someone. They're building for longevity, and that just means that there's going to be a lot of ups and downs, and it's sort of a slow grind. I think Azuki BEANZ are a very nice buy. The hype with Azuki is like unreal, and sort of like how Nate was touching on before, like you want to just
Totally.
follow that momentum. So when you see people going into BEANZ, you see that Azuki's potentially announcing something new for them, like those are strong buy signals to follow that momentum and then sell that on the other side. So I think in the short term, I would guess you can probably profit more from flipping a bean than you can a Kong. But for long-term allocations, like I wouldn't be caught dead without a Kong. So that's what I would say there. As far as like play to earn and NFT Worlds go, I think they're doing great. I think they have a lot of partnerships coming. I know Creators has been announcing a lot of partnerships. I think NFT Worlds is a super strong one. I do see the glaring issues for me lie in them using the IP of Microsoft and the limitations with customizable avatars in Minecraft. You're just limited in that ecosystem. But generally, like Minecraft is a very tried and true game. People love it. It's fun. Like Clerk said, it's fun first. So I think NFT Worlds are probably like a safe bet. And I do think it sort of falls into that category of assets that I was talking about before, where like if you're bullish on the metaverse, you don't need to choose one metaverse application. Like it's so much harder to snipe the gem. So like having allocations to the ecosystem as a whole, I think is a smart one. Personally, I'm sure Clerk has thoughts. Yeah.
There's always the best strategy, to spread your bets. You size properly across your along with your convictions, of course. But having several exposures would always be the best. I did mention about World Wide Web 3, Arcade Land, but in fact, I have of course also world. I have Pixel. I have Farmlands. I have Drovers. But several. I have just more confidence on them. So, but in truth, you need to always have like mini exposures to several projects that is also working, because that will be your moonshot, right? So yeah, and I think this hasn't been said enough in my opinion, but everything in ape ecosystem right now, you cannot fade it. Regardless the story is out and everything, but the team has delivered big time, and confidence is really high in ape community. And I think ape token, I have a slight difference with Nate. I would build positions in ape personally, but for trade maybe it's harder to guess, because it's true that currently it is ranging. You need breakout signal for trading, but for fundamentally it has all the potential. The launch of the other side using ape token, I highly I highly believe that it will be the case. Otherwise, there's no point in pushing Ape token as the currency going forward if they don't even sell with Ape token. Second part, Coda would be a great play because it was probability play. People would want to have Codas, so it will be some interesting play. And yeah, a lot of Ape holders are just apes. They hold like crazy. Even Ape token is out and everything. Floor is still at 111 ETH per ape, so that's conviction and confidence. So yeah, let's see how it will be when land drop has been concluded. Um, and yeah, the rest it will be a race of who will be the next ape, who will be the next Azukis, who will be the next doodles and everything. And you need to spread your bets across those building tiers, in my opinion. Like what's good around 10 ETH floor, what's good on blue chips, what's good that is still 1 ETH floor. And on CyberKongz, totally agree with Box. It's not a trade play. The confidence, the expectations are different across projects like Azuki, Ape, and Kongs, because they're playing a whole different game. Kongs is always about technology and innovations and small community without hype, while Ape Azuki is always the strongest on brand building, on hype building, on basically being noisy, being loud about their project. So I think the meta here at the moment is being on the lot community parts. So that's why Azuki Basi has been really strong, and that's why Kongs is has been moving up and down along that range. But I believe in all NFT projects that is actually building, there will always be cycles. So there will be time when this project is up. There will be time this project is up. So that will move along with any great updates, great deliveries of each project. So bet on teams rather than bet on what is being noisy at the moment. Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, that was really helpful. Yep.
Yeah, sure thing. Thank you for your question there. And if no one else has any more questions, I think we could wrap this one up. Yeah, let's wrap it up. And if anybody does have any further questions, you can always find us in our Discord. This Spaces will be up, I think, in a couple days. I think we may have some issues with how it's recorded and have to request it, but you'll be able to go back through this and listen in, and ping us with anything. Okay. I see two more questions that we'll take. It's Levels and Greasy, and then we'll call it. I'm bringing them both up.
Yep.
Sweet. Levels.
Hey, you guys hear me?
Yeah. Hey.
I wanted to ask you a side question. I know you guys obviously love Kongs. Do you think the fact that Kongs aren't getting love now when they kind of should be is making you have a little cold feet on the whole market right now? It's like quality isn't being respected. The market feels a little weird.
So in my opinion, right now we're following like this meta of like partnerships and things like that, and a lot of hype, like Clerk was talking about. That's why you're seeing things like Bored Apes and Azuki pumping, especially. Where like Kongs, as Clerk also mentioned, it's about the tech, it's about the innovation, and that like takes time, and it takes time for people to appreciate that. So I think it's less about like, it gives me less trepidation about the larger market. It's just understanding that the cycle we're in is like not focusing on innovative tech right now. It's focusing on hype, which is totally cool. They're both very valid. Building a brand, getting people hyped about it, that's like a great strategy. It's been very successful for Apes and Azukis, and it's just not what Kongs are focused on. So I think the market will go through cycles where what Kongs are doing will be appreciated. But I don't see it as a detractor for the space as a whole right now, personally.
Yeah, I think the important thing is the important mentality is not to comparing across projects, because each projects has always have different characters and different purpose, different mission. So the key here is not to compare, right? When certain project for going up crazily and our project didn't go crazy, it doesn't mean that project is actually better, and doesn't mean our project is actually worse. That's always the key, right? And it will be back again to why you're investing in a certain project, right? If you want a project, if you want to be on the side that is allowed at the moment, where confidence is high, then you have your picks, right? And when if you're looking at quality and investing to the team and delivery, then judge the delivery and the quality, instead of judge the project relative to what the floor price is doing. So I think that's the mentality that people tend to get wrong, because comparing, because it's project, because not every project will run together. Some projects will run now, some projects will run later, but what's absolute here is that any project that has always delivered will have their turn. That's what I believe.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks.
Yeah, sure thing. Thanks for the question. And then Greasy, we'll take you up.
Yeah, what's up, guys? I was actually curious on how you guys, I guess, analyze shitcoins and charts in general. Maybe like what kind of indicators you guys use, or just what you guys look for, to have the confidence into. Because small caps are freaking so volatile. You can lose all your money very fast. So I was just wondering what you guys really look at.
Yeah, this is a great one. Because I trade shitcoins, from 100,000 market cap even. So it's definitely very risky. I think for me, what I look for is, first of all, like check when you're really early on a token, you want to check like who deployed the contract. A lot of time there are these like circles of ruggers that release a token, rug it, release a new one, rug it, and they do like very little to cover their tracks. So like I'll dig into the Etherscan, I'll see who deployed the contract, I'll follow that wallet, was funded by an exchange or from another wallet, and sometimes you can trace that back and instantly see like, oh, this guy just launched tokens within the last week that both rugged. So like those are big red flags. I think beyond that, as they're a little more established, the next thing I look at is like the holder distribution. If it's super unhealthy, if the top 20 wallets are holding like 70% of the tokens, if you have holders that are larger than 2%, for me, that's another huge red flag. And that doesn't mean they can't moon. Sometimes even coins moon where they have lots of the supply locked up in the largest holder because nobody's selling. It's just a lot less likely. Most of the time you have dumpers. And then, looking at volume, I know, when Nate was trading Colt, when he was looking at Colt, the thing that brought him in is it was a $4 million market cap that had $7 million in volume on that first day. So right there, you're saying, okay, there's a massive amount of capital flowing in and out of this token. That's a big buy signal. You're sort of following volume there. So that's a good way to look at it. And then there's general chart information you can use. It's less applicable on those smaller caps because one person can wreck or make the chart. But those are my general things. I know Clerk has, his way of trading these things too.
Yeah, I'm coming from different position, in my opinion, because I tend to trade with size. So what's important for me is always volume and liquidity, right? I've been trying a lot of times, to be like box, but with size, but I tend to get stuck in that coin because liquidity wise it's not it's not accommodating enough for the size. Like some coins you could only play with 0.5 or 1 ether max. Some coins you can play to 5 to 10. Some coins you can do 1 30 40 50 ETH like Cult was, right? So sometimes it's always a different things to see and things to look out for in shitcoins. Depends on what your plan with that shitcoin. So discipline will be important for you, and deciding what's the plan from the get-go would be important as well. But for me, as I would love to get something that I can play with 20 30 ETH, liquidity and volume would be the most important part.
Yeah, I think something Clerk just touched on that's great is like planning your exits, especially if you're moving in with a larger amount of capital. Like these things are so volatile. If you don't have your exit planned, you're going to get caught up in an emotional trade, and you're just going to want to hold when your bag has mooned. And sometimes that means that you do end up selling too early. But if you're hitting those targets, you take your profit. Profit is profit. You've made your mark, and maybe you leave a moon bag. But it's good to have an idea when you're going in, for sure.
And do you guys have like specific websites or tools that you use that you could recommend to see all of these analytics?
Yeah, so I mean, we just generally trade on DEX tools, and then there is DEX tools live new pairs where you can actually watch tokens launch. I think that's a lot riskier personally than like being in good groups like the ACYC Alpha channel where people do some of this vetting together. But from there, whenever you see a coin on DEX tools, you can just follow the link right to Etherscan, and that'll give you holder distribution. That'll give you the means to track the wallets that funded the coin. All those things are right. So DEX tools and Etherscan are my big ones.
Gotcha. Thank you very much, guys.
Yeah, thank you, man. And I think with that, those were our last two, and we will call it here. So as I said before, you can always ping any of us in the ACYC Discord. If you want into the alpha channel, it's 200 million tokens, which is about 0.5 ETH right now. We're always in there. We make our calls, whether it's on Colt or Ape or anything like that. You were able to ride the wave with Nate trading Ape, trading Colt. Clerk is always coming in with great NFT plays. So find us in there for sure. And this spaces will be available to re-listen to within the next couple days. And that's it. Thank you guys all for being in, and we'll catch you on the next spaces.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for joining.